Hello and welcome back. I'm David Breslow, founder of Performance Success Strategies and creator of Wired to Win, the most popular golf performance program, mental game training, total golf performance program on the golf market today. So stay tuned for today's tip. Today, I would like to talk to you about the dreaded yips, Y-I-P-S, the yips. You know, not every golfer experiences the yips, but a lot of golfers do. It's that annoying little, seemingly extra little wiggle or movement or herky-jerky movement prior to taking the club back. And for a lot of golfers, it seems to occur more on the shorter shots, closer to the green, the approach shots, the shots where you're using your 9 iron or your pitching wedge or your sand wedge somewhere close to the green. That seems to be the more popular area for the yips to take place. But some golfers actually experience the yips at the tee or in the fairway. It's just something that occurs. Again, not everybody, but a lot of golfers do experience it. There's been a lot of research done. There's a lot of psychological research done. There's a lot of conversation about the yips. But as far as I'm concerned, the yips are clearly mental. Unless you have some kind of a physical issue, a neurological issue of some kind, maybe, the yips then are, in my opinion, caused by the mind. And especially once they start, did you ever notice that if you've ever experienced the yips, once you get it in your head, then it becomes much more difficult to let go of. And it seems to occur just when you don't want it most. Did anybody ever notice that as well? That you may not experience the yips, and this is true for some golfers, they don't experience the yips under normal conditions, but when they start feeling pressure, the yips start to show up. And again, that's that hesitation and that little herky-jerky movement prior to taking the club back that completely botches up the rhythm of the golf swing. So again, I believe the yips are first taking place in the mind. So the key for that is to pay attention about what you're thinking and focusing on, because quite often all we do is experience the fear or the worry that takes place, and next thing you know, you're standing over the ball and you feel that little twitching starting to happen. But all of that is triggered by something. And in my opinion, it's triggered by something that's already going on in the mind. So my suggestion to you is, once again, as always, be honest, because if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to get to the root cause of whatever issue you have on the golf course. Honesty is the key. So ask yourself, what is it I'm really thinking? And a lot of golfers, when I ask them that question, these are the ones who experience the yips, they will say, well, I start worrying about it as I get closer to the shot. So their mind is already focusing on the fact that the yips are probably going to happen. And if you truly understand the mind-body relationship, then you will clearly understand that you caused it, because that's how powerful the creative aspect of the mind is. If you're already worried about it, you're already thinking about it, you're already imagining it taking place, it's going to happen, because that's how powerful the mind is. So my suggestion to you is, again, to be honest, sit down, ask yourself, what am I really thinking? What am I really thinking? Because it is triggering what's causing that yip experience for you. Whatever you're worried about, whatever you're fearing, whatever you're hesitating, that is going to be probably the cause for that physiological or physical experience of the yips, because it's not happening on its own. Those kinds of things don't happen on their own. They're being preceded by something. So you can look around in all sorts of areas for an answer, but in my opinion, the answer is always going to come back to what's going on in your own mind. What am I thinking as I approach this shot? What am I feeling as I approach this shot? What am I fearing as I approach this shot? What am I worrying about as I approach this shot? And take note for yourself if those yippy type experiences tend to happen more when you're under pressure than when you're not. that'll be another indicator to you that what I'm saying to you is true. Because if you're feeling it more when you're under pressure, chances are you're starting to experience having those experiences because of what you're thinking and what you're worrying about and what you're fearing. Okay? There's a very logical sequence that's taking place here. It's a core trigger. It's a model that I talk about in the Wired to Win program, that every feeling is preceded by a thought or a memory. Okay? And then that emotion is now triggering a physical action. And that's where the physical yips are taking place. And that physical action is triggering an outcome of some kind, which may be, well, a lousy shot or whatever the outcome is. But everything is, if you take it back in this model that I just gave you, everything comes back to a root cause factor. And it's going to be something in your mind. It's going to be a thought or a memory or some self-talk that you have. Go right back there. If you want to look for an answer, go back there, because every one of those things is going to trigger a feeling. You can't have a feeling without having one of those core triggers take place. It's not going to happen. And then you're not going to have a physical response or physical reaction without having the feeling and the core trigger take place. It's a very sequential model. So step 1 goes to 2, to 3, to 4. Okay, core trigger is always taking place preceding an emotion or a feeling. That is always preceding a physical response or behavior, which is always preceding an outcome. So I ask you to really take a good look at that today and see how that formula is playing out in your game. So Dave Breslow, I hope you enjoyed today's tip about the yips. And if you want to learn more about me or the Wired to Win approach, you're welcome to visit www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. And I look forward to hearing from you, or you're welcome to leave any information in cyberspace. I would love to hear your comments and your thoughts. So Dave Breslow, thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.